Hi everyone, welcome to the All Time Chatter podcast. Today I have a very special guest with me in here. Her name is Anamika, and you probably heard the intro. So I will introduce her in here. Hi, how are you
So
doing today?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you for having me on your podcast.
So
Yeah.
happy to have you in here.
So
So
yeah, I have to.
Anamika, yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
Anamika, can you introduce yourself to our listeners?
Yeah. So hi everyone. I'm Anamika. So I'm doing my masters in Japan, and I'm doing my masters in information science in Kyoto. And yeah, I also have a YouTube channel where I tell about MEXT Scholarship and different scholarship opportunities in Japan and like daily life in Japan that I experience. So yeah, this is all about me.
So also I'll be linking her YouTube channel down below. Like it's very pretty. Her vlogs are really good.
Thank
So
you.
go check it out. So Anamika, this my first question to you will be like you did your BTech as you said from India. So mostly students prefer European countries or United States for their studies if they get chance in masters. So why did you select Japan?
So yeah, actually I did my BTech in mechatronics engineering in India. So the mechatronics engineering field is not was not that popular in India like back in 2017 when I started my BTech. But like it's getting popular now. So when I was like researching about my field, I got to know that it is originated like from Japan. So yeah, that was a kind of like spark that my interest in studying in Japan. And I've been always fascinated by like East Asia country more than Western countries. So like Japan was like one of my list like major countries in the list of doing masters. And after that I wanted to like switch in artificial intelligence and like information science for my degree. And major part of like applying to Japan was like the MEX scholarship. I got to know about it, and I'm like, wow, this is like a very good opportunity. And I got to know about the universities and the programs, and I think Japan has like a lot of scope in artificial intelligence. You see robots around here and like many things. So I think Japan has a lot of scope in artificial intelligence. So I thought like, why not going there and like study AI? Yeah.
That's interesting. And one thing also, like I got to know about MEXT Scholarship because of her, and I started watching her videos since last December, and I applied. Hopefully, in the future, if I get into MEXT and if I get into Japan, I'll be happy than ever to you. Know, thank you so much. So
I
I'm
hope
still
you get
hoping
it.
in the upcoming year. I really wish to get into Japan. So, like, Anamika, like I am a very huge fan of Japanese cartoons, anime, and everything, which always interested me to either go to South Korea
Mhm.
or Japan. Like J-pop and K-pop are so famous.
Yeah,
So
true.
like when you were doing your graduation and जब आप Japan के लिए apply करे थे, had something came into your mind like because of the culture, because of the J-pop and everything, you want to go there?
Yeah, as I said, like I was more interested in like East Asia country,
Mm-hmm.
specifically like Korea or Japan because of the soft pop culture, like anime and J-pop. Even in Korea, I'm also interested like in going to Korea, as like K-pop and K-dramas as well. So like these were also pushing factor that encouraged my mind to apply in Japan. So like yeah, these were like played an important role.
Same.
Yeah.
So like you had a very big transition from India to Japan. Like in India, we have all the family members. It's very packed up and all. आपके वहाँ पे भी same ही हुआ होगा. So when you went to Japan, what were your first thoughts when you landed with your suitcase in Japan? You were going to your whatever accommodation. So were you like did you know the Japanese language? What were the difficulties when you transit from there?
So yeah, about the Japanese language, we for the next scholarship for the master student, we have to do a Japanese course, which is around 6 months. So at that time, we had like a Japanese language course going on in our home country for 1 month. So I did not knew Japanese at all. Like, but I knew how to read like hiragana and katakana, like very basic. Arigato, gozaimasu, konnichiwa, and that's all. When I landed in Japan, and just to read the hiragana and katakanas, that's it. That was my Japanese language. So I was all lost. Like, what's happening? As soon as I landed, I could not read the signs anywhere. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it felt like a whole new place. It was a whole new place, but it was like so out of my mind. I expected that, but still, when you land in Japan, and
Yeah.
it's like, oh, it was like my mind got like frozen. It's like what to do, what not to do. I did not know. So in Japan at that time, I landed here in 2022. So there was
Mm-hmm.
also like COVID restrictions going on. So I have to be in quarantine, a hotel for like 3 days and get the RT-PCR test done and all. I remember I used to like feel so lonely and I used to cry all night. I'm like, I don't understand anything. I was like, what's happening? So it took around, I would say, a month to finally realize that, okay, I'm in Japan. Things work here differently. You have to get your things done. There's like no one coming to help you. So small things like getting a SIM card, getting a bank account, or like having a residence card. It was such a big task at that time for me because I did not knew any language. And if you go to like official office in Japan, they mostly operate in Japanese. So it was like a very difficult task for me to go there all by myself and do things. So yeah, those were like a interesting experience, I would say.
When you think about your past, like when you entered into Japan, and just when I look at your videos, and now it's like you have done it like so far, and now you are like so experienced. So whosoever comes, आप उनको सिखा सकते हो. So now you are totally accustomed उनके cultures and traditions में.
Not totally, I would say. It's
Mm-hmm.
still sometime I would get like culture shock, and I'm like, I would not get accustomed to this culture. But I would say, yeah, I would more adapted to this society now. I know how to like function according to this society and
Mm-hmm.
this environment specifically. So yeah, especially I've been living in Kyoto for more than 1 year. And whenever I go outside of Kyoto, like places like Tokyo or
Mm-hmm.
other places, it's different. I still get that kind of culture shock. Oh, I have to get adapted to a new environment because Tokyo is very crowded, very fast paced,
Mm-hmm.
and environment in Kyoto is very different from like than Tokyo. So yeah, it's I still get I have to like do some work to get adapted, but I think it's kind of part of a process. So yeah, I'm trying to get adapted to this environment.
So like, which one do you like the most, Tokyo or Kyoto?
I like Kyoto more than Tokyo. I would say I've been to Tokyo more than like 2 3 times.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I mean, there's a lot to do in Tokyo. Tokyo is like one of the biggest city in the world, and but there's many people, like so many people in Tokyo because it's
Mm-hmm.
the most populous city in the world as well. So if you're coming in Japan as a tourist, I would totally recommend like staying in Tokyo more, like rather than going to other place. But if you want to like live in Japan and you are not that a fan of fast paced like life, I would say like because I am from India, and India we also like have a bigger
Ah.
population, like so it would I would feel like it's not that difficult to get adapted to that the bhag dor. But after living to Kyoto for like almost more than 1 year, I feel like I'm more kind of Kyoto person now than Tokyo. So I would love to go to Tokyo to visit places because they have like many different tourist places and attraction. But I think for a long term purpose, I would live in Kyoto.
Kyoto. So
Yeah,
you
it's
have
like a
visited,
lot quieter.
so like you have visited Kasuka Bay, or like it's
Not
very far?
yet.
Not yet.
I think
You want to visit?
it's far. Yeah, sure. I do want to visit. It's one of my like bucket list. I want to visit Kasukabe. I have seen videos of it before coming to
Same.
Japan. Yeah, so I haven't visited it yet. I don't get like a lot of time to travel because of the studies,
Mhm.
but yeah, sure, I'm like trying to, make a balance so that I can explore Japan as well as study in Japan as well.
Yeah, we'll be waiting for your Kasukabe vlog. And then that
Oh,
vlog
yeah,
will blow up. Means so many people just want to, like, like watch that vlog. Yeah,
I
everyone just want
know.
to explore that city. So it will be good
Yeah.
whenever you get time, you just record that vlog.
Yeah, yeah, I'm definitely gonna go there. It's like one of my bucket lists. I'm just like managing the time when to go there, and I'll just book the trip and just go to Kasukabe and vlog it and post
Anamika
everything.
ji getting YouTube recommendation videos abhi.
Yeah, thank
So when you told your parents and your friends about that you cracked MEXT, what was like your initial reaction there? And did they allow you? Yeah, they said ki no. Like parents, Indian parents sometimes most people don't want to send their kids far away. But what was your
you.
parents' reaction and everything?
So I remember I was applying to different scholarship. Like in after my graduation from BTech, I wanted to do a master's in abroad. I told that mm, to my parents, so I think they were ready to like send me
Mm-hmm.
abroad. So I was applying to different countries, but yeah, definitely I wanted to like apply. I wanted to get accepted in Japan and the MEXT scholarship. I did not mention that to my parents. Like they did not take it seriously till I cracked the preliminary exam and the interview. So after that, I'm like, okay, maybe she is going far. My father did not have like much issue with it, but my mom was little scared to send me off. But yeah, at the same time, she was very supportive. I remember she used to send me different internship opportunities as well as scholarship opportunities. So yeah, she would suggest me to apply here and there. So yeah, I did not have much problem with my parents when I cracked the MEX scholarship. When I cracked the preliminary exams and the interview, then I told my like friends. So yeah, maybe I have a chance of going to Japan, and they were also very like happy for me, and yeah, my parents were supportive in that.
Such a big achievement. Like, when you're small, you never thought like this would happen, and now this happened. It's like what come लोगों के life में, this thing happened by chance, and then they just go, and it's very nice to see you guys settling up वहाँ पे.
Thank you so much.
Yes. कुछ ज्यादा ही तारीफ हो गई. She's like not anymore.
No, I don't know how to take a lot of compliments. It's like,
So, Anamika, you said that people have to take Japanese language course like 6 months or something you mentioned. So, what is that? Like, is it necessary for master students to take before they go to Japan? Yeah, it will be okay if they don't take and land into Japan.
yeah, so it's mostly you have to take it after you land to Japan. But in our case, because of the COVID situation, our arrival in
Mhm.
Japan was delayed a month. So we were supposed to arrive in Japan in April 2022, but we arrived in Japan in May 2022 because of the COVID situation. So that's why we had to take like 1 month of because the courses already started in April. So we have to take
Mhm.
our Japanese course back home in our home country according to the Japanese time. So it was difficult, like getting up so early for the classes and yeah. But mostly it's like you now, if you apply for it, you can take the Japanese class once you come to like Japan. And also, I would like to mention, like for master student, you can
Mhm.
skip it depending on your professor and your graduate school. So I know friends who did not have to take this mandatory language course because the studies in master mostly depend on your professor. You have to mostly
Mhm.
contact with your professor. So if your professor speaks English and he says like he or she says like there is no need to take a Japanese course, then you can skip it and directly enroll in your graduate school. But if your professor wants you to take it, then you can take it. Or if you yeah, by yourself want to take the Japanese course, because living in Japan definitely requires like knowing Japanese. You cannot function here without knowing Japanese. So you might
Mhm.
function like it's okay for you to study in Japan like master's program. If it's in English, you won't have any problem. But like in daily day to day life, social life, you might like need Japanese. So I think it's better if you take the Japanese course.
Hmm. So, like, it's been almost 1 year since you are living in Japan, right? So, like,
Yeah,
at
yeah.
first you said that you dealt with loneliness, thoda friendship, and every issue happens. So, what's the scene now? Like, do you deal with homesickness, or is it okay totally now that you don't have that thought in your mind?
Actually, about the loneliness thing, I would say I also made a video about it, but I think
Mm-hmm.
like Japan is I still feel lonely about like living after 1 year. I do have
Mm-hmm.
friends. It's not like that I don't have friends. I have international friends as well as few Japanese people that I know from my university, from my graduate school. But I think the Japanese society is functioned this way that you have to. They are like you have to do things on your own, like they expect you to do things everything's on your own. So it's like if you hang out for a time, it's like okay, we are very good friends. After that, they don't contact you, or they
Oh.
don't contact you much. So it's like not a very close bond or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's like you go on your own way, we'll go on our own way. So it's like that. So maintaining a good friendship with a Japanese person, even though you speak good Japanese, is tough. Breaking into their shells is really tough. So this is
Mm-hmm.
one thing that I've noticed and observed about Japan. And yeah, about getting homesickness, I would say like I started like making feel I feel like Kyoto is also kind of become a home to me. I remember when I was going back to India for my spring break, I missed Kyoto a lot. I remember while I was on plane, I felt the same way when I was leaving India. I felt the
Mm-hmm.
same emotions while going back to India. So it's kind of like both of the places are kind of home now. So yeah, I love living here. I love living in Kyoto, but yeah, sometimes it can get lonely because of the society, I would say, this environment. So it's difficult to make Japanese, be friends with Japanese people.
Means like they don't stay like so much in touch. Like suppose we talk
True,
and we
true,
stay in
true.
touch. Like Indians
Yeah,
kind of
yeah, yeah.
stay in touch for 1 year, or sometimes they'll ask you how you are, but they don't do
Yeah,
that.
they don't. That was like one of cultural shock, I would say, is it
Mm-hmm.
normal in Japan, or are they ghosting me or something like that? But I
Mm-hmm.
heard from other friends, no, that's the normal kind of behavior that Japanese people do, and that's not something strange here. So this is their
Mm-hmm.
behavior, and this is like it's very difficult to break into their shells and make them very close friends. And like when they are with you, they're so nice. Japanese people will help you like a lot. And
Mm-hmm.
yeah, if you ask them, if you approach them, they'll hang out with you and they'll like help you anything. But if you don't approach to them, they're like, we won't talk to you.
So like
Yeah.
you are close with some Japanese people like as friends, like really close, or it's just Indian friends or friends from other countries but not from Japan right now.
Mostly my friends are like from other countries, not from Japan. But I do have like a few people in my lab as well as like in my university that I know are Japanese, and I have hung out with them from like few times, and that was like amazing. But yeah, that as I said, we don't meet often, so it's like we don't
Mm-hmm.
like have any deeper connection. But whenever we meet, so it's like okay, hi, let's hang out, and then it's like that. But most of the close friends that I have are like from other country or India.
Mm-hmm. So, like, some huge cultural difference that you have faced in Japan, like really huge, that shocked you. Like, this was about friends, something else that you have in your mind that still
I was
shocks you
I
now.
would say was like culture differences, like yeah, like having a so onsen here is a kind of a big thing. So onsen, which means like having a public bath.
Okay,
So
sauna,
yeah, yeah, kind of sauna, but like a natural hot spring water. There are many like
okay,
hot spring places where
like in
people
Doraemon.
go. Yeah, yeah, same. Yeah. So I think that is still a culture shock for me, like going to onsen with your friends and all, having like a public bath space, which is like not very familiar thing in India. So that's one of a culture shock that I can think of right now. Yeah, and yeah,
So like
people
you went
are
there? Kabhi bhi you
not
went
yet,
to? No?
not yet. Still, I still feel like a bit weird about it. But yeah, it's like one of a nice experience from
Mhm.
other foreign friends I've heard. So yeah, they say that it's a nice experience. So I'm looking forward to going into it someday, probably.
A vlog on that.
So I'll see about that.
Yeah. So, Namika, what was your one of the biggest struggle in Japan? Like one of your most toughest phase in Japan? Yeah, you didn't had a toughest phase when you were there for 1 year.
Oh, that's like I had many tough phases.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the most toughest phase I would say while getting sick. Yeah, because the weather here changes so suddenly. So sometimes there's rain, then there's hot weather again, then humidity. So that change in weather like makes me fall sick very often. So I have like a tonsillitis problem. So I get like a throat ache and fever whenever the weather changes drastically. So yeah, whenever I get sick, I think those are the most toughest phase for me in Japan because the medical system here is very different from like in India. In India, you can go to the pharmacy and ask for the medicine directly, but here you cannot without the doctor's prescription. So you have to go to the doctor first, and the medical expenses here are like so high. So and like even though if you want to go to the doctor, you have to make an appointment like 1 day before or 2 day before, something like that. You have to call to the hospital, and I think that's the biggest challenge for me because I know Japanese like very basic conversational level of Japanese, like going to convenience store or talking to people like with the keywords. Sometimes yeah, I can understand them, but talking to them is like a difficult thing. So making an appointment in the hospital is very difficult thing for me. So I think, and especially when I'm sick, I don't have the energy to talk to the hospital and make an appointment and go there after like 1 or 2 days. So I think getting sick here is really like takes physical and mental toll on me.
Mm-hmm. And plus, like you don't have anyone like as in family members to
True.
care for you. So, सबसे ज़्यादा
Yeah,
you
that's
feel
a
lonely at that time. You have no
true,
one.
true,
You
true.
just be in bed, and who is there to take care of you?
Yeah, it's like you have to cook your own food even though you are sick because you have to take medicines and you have to eat something. I think that's
Mm-hmm.
the most toughest part of living, not even living in Japan. I think living anywhere away from home.
Anyway. Like I
Yeah.
also stay alone in here in Delhi. I'm doing my
Mhm.
graduation, so I cook my own food. I clean my own
Uh,
clothes. I'm doing it for the
uh,
last 2 years. So I also know that sometimes I'm the single child. I'm the only child of my parents. So I
mhm,
just feel like whenever I go home, ki just stay in there and don't come back.
mhm.
And now I'm in
Yeah,
here, so I just get sick. So I have to manage it myself.
yeah, I
Sometimes you
think
get
that's,
good roommates who are there to help you. But for you, the situation, like you guys stay in dorms, right? So you don't have a
yeah, yeah.
roommate?
I don't. I used to stay in dorm like for the first
Mm-hmm.
6 months, but now I stay in my own apartment. I don't have like a roommate or thing, so it's like a own 1 BHK apartment kind of thing. So yeah.
So you don't feel scared to stay alone, or is it normal
Uh,
for you?
it has become normal for me now. Earlier, I used to like when I was in like graduate undergraduate degree, so I had
Mm-hmm.
like 2 3 roommates. So at that time, I used to think when I'm gonna move out, move alone, it's gonna be very scary for me. I don't know how to do things. How will I live alone? But now I think. In Japan, it's pretty normal to have like no roommates, even though if you're in dorm. When I was in dorm, I had like a single room. I had no
Mm-hmm.
roommates in my dorm as well, and I think that accustomed me to living here in like apartment as well. Also, like I have some Riddhi like in the same apartment, so we
Yeah.
can meet anytime. So
You guys
yeah,
in the
I think
same apartment?
yeah, we live in the
Oh,
same
that's
apartment.
nice.
So Yeah, so we can meet anytime we want and like chat.
That's nice. So, like, what is one of your most favorite place in Japan to hang out when you feel like kind of bad, or some days that's the place that you want to go, and you would recommend us also if we come, we should visit that one place.
Okay, so yeah, I will start with about places in Kyoto.
Mm-hmm.
So, my favorite place in Kyoto is like Kamogawa River. So
Mm-hmm.
Kamogawa is like Kamogawa translates as a Kamo translates as duck and Gawa translates as a river. So like together it's like Kamogawa. So it's very close. The river is very close to my house, and it's like so beautiful going out there and like seeing the sunset and just sitting there. You can like, especially in the summer, you can see so many people out and like I don't know, they say here like hanabi, so it's like a
Mm-hmm.
Diwali. They do like they light up fuljadi and patakes every day throughout the
Wow.
2 3 months. In summer it's like a celebration around here. They do it like every day, and I just go there alone and just sit and just see, people watching, people observation. I just do that, and it like really helps me to heal or have like a
Mm-hmm.
nice time to think, just be there and enjoy the scenery. I would really recommend, if you come to Kyoto, you should like sit at Kamogawa, see the sunset. It's such a pretty place.
That's nice. And outside of Kyoto?
Yeah, so recently I went to like Tokyo, but from in Tokyo I would say like I have a famous favorite place, which is Odaiba. So it is like a artificial city, like planned city made in Tokyo, mostly for tourist purposes. So they also have like a beach, so I
Mm-hmm.
really like that area. Uh, Although it's like artificial and man-made beach, but yeah, it's the whole city vibe is so nice and pretty. I like enjoy going there. Also, like if you want to go outside of Tokyo, some more
Mm-hmm.
quieter place which is near, like doesn't take much time from Tokyo, I would recommend to going to Enoshima. I recently went there, and it was also a beach place. And but yeah, that city is like so nice. It doesn't give off like Japan vibe. You go there, it would feel like you are somewhere in like Florida or Hawaii, very beachy vibe. And they also have like very mysterious shrine kind of thing, which reminds me of like Ghibli movies. I am like very huge fan
Wow.
of Ghibli movies. So yeah, so I really look for those kind of places. And in Kyoto, you can find so many shrines if you like just go out for a walk. I'm not talking
Mm-hmm.
about the famous and crowded ones, because there are very famous shrines like Yasaka Shrine, Kiyomizu Dera
Mm-hmm.
Temple. So these are the top tourist places, and you cannot find these places like empty. Never. It's like always flooded with tourists. But apart from that, there are many other shrines as well that are not much famous, but you can go there and like feel the authentic Japan, authentic like old Japan, old Kyoto. And I think that's very nice to explore. I would say I would
I
recommend if you have
really
like,
want to go now, the way you were just saying. I really want to visit those places.
yeah, I would totally recommend you. I hope you come to Japan soon. I would like give you more suggestions to go
Then we could
to
we'll visit
places.
together for future.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
really hope.
sure. I hope. Yeah.
So, Anamika, one of my main question to you is that you guys get a monthly stipend, right? Because of MEXT. So,
Mm-hmm.
do you ever face financial crisis or any financial difficulties, or you don't have to like you don't have the tension to manage your finances because you have money left at the end of the month?
So yeah, I think it depends on where are you living in Japan. So also our stipend also depends on where are you living in Japan. So those people who are living in Tokyo or Osaka or even in Kyoto get a little more stipend because these places are expensive. Yeah, than other places. If you live in countryside of Japan, you're gonna get a little like the standard stipend, which is like 1,43,000 yen. But if you live in Kyoto, Osaka, Tokyo, Tokyo or Sapporo, like major cities of Japan, where the food and like accommodation is very expensive, you'll get like not more, but 2-3 thousand more than the standard. So I think I would not say that manage like I'm able to manage save a lot of money by the end of the month because of the rent expenses and the food expenses here, but it's enough. It's enough for to survive like in a month and have live not very comfortably, but yeah, kind of comfortable life. So yeah, we can manage our accommodation, we can manage our bills, and we can manage like getting food and yeah, miscellaneous activities. But after that, after doing all that, I don't think it's like not much amount of money saved in our bank account. So like it's just enough to survive in
Mhm.
Japan.
Enough to survive a month and
Yeah,
then. So you
yeah,
don't have to
so,
like borrow any money from your family or
mhm,
anything. You just do it by
no,
yourself.
yeah. Also, you
Very
can
nice.
also get a part-time job in Japan.
Hmm.
So if you know a little bit of Japanese, you can get a part-time job of teaching or teaching like English, even if you don't know
Hmm.
Japanese, or if you know Japanese, then you can have so many part-time jobs opportunity available. So you can like have some extra income, then you can live like a comfortable life in Japan.
So you are doing any part-time job or no?
Not yet. Like I'm not doing any part-time job because of the schedule of my like university. I'm not getting like a lot of time to do part-time job. But yeah, getting a part-time job is like always an option. Yeah.
Mhm. So, like, as you see, ki, the people who are in Europe, Germany, Italy, or maybe Norway, they mostly get jobs as like security
Mm-hmm.
guards, or they clean dishes, or clean the
Yeah.
washrooms and all, or you are at McDonald's and everything. So,
Mm-hmm.
in Japan, is the same thing for students, or is it different?
Yeah, it's the same thing. I know so many people, like so many international students who are like
Hmm.
working at McDonald's, working at like, convenience store in Japan, which is like 7-Eleven, Family Mart, and Lawson, and not even international student. I know so many, like almost every Japanese student in my university, in my lab, they also work part time to like accommodate their uh, tuition fees, their accommodation. They work as like a hotel staff, hotel cleaning staff at like some restaurants as a waiter. So it's also like a common thing to do here. If you are in the graduate, like doing your undergraduate or graduate, I think it's common then. I'm not sure about the high school student. Like the
Hmm.
Western country, I think like it's normal to do it after 18 year, after you turn 18 year or some age criteria. But yeah, once you are in university, most of the people have part-time job here.
Nice. So before I move to my last big question for you,
Mhm.
can you share with our listeners any big three life advice, be it mentally, financial, economical, any life advice that you want to give to us at this age, or people who just want to come to Japan for their studies, and you feel that this advice will help them? Any three. You can think a little bit and then say.
Oh, okay, okay. I have to think about it because I haven't prepared anything about it.
The
Okay.
script is also that scripted. All the questions are like shooting to her.
Yeah. So yeah, about people coming to Japan, the most important life advice I would say is that to learn Japanese. If you know Japanese in Japan, I did not know. I still don't know a lot of Japanese in Japan, and I think I did not get much time because of my studies. But I am planning to like focus on Japanese, for 6 months or something like that. But yeah, knowing the language of the country where you are going, where the English is not the native language, I think it's very important to have a social life in that country, to able to interact with the common people here. So yeah, knowing the language of any country you are